Let me introduce you a little bit to the topic of Ma'aser Sheni, Mr. Emmanuel. The concept of Ma'aser Sheni, of course, is that after we have Ma'aser Rishon, which is the first tenth which goes to the Levi, the next tenth goes to Yerushalmi. In other words, you, the owner of the crop, take it to Yerushalmi and eat it there, or alternately, which is the topic of conversation tonight, you redeem it on money, and you take the money up to Yerushalayim, and you buy fruit with the money, or preferably, actually I should say shlomim, preferably karbonos in Yerushalayim. If not the shlomim, then fruit or drink of any sort, which grows from the ground, or which has connection to the ground, to exclude, of course, mushrooms and truffles, which are not considered to be growing from the ground, and you eat it in Yerushalayim. That's what Ma'aser Sheni is. Now the question is, what kind of substance can you use, what coinage can you use in order to redeem Ma'aser Sheni? Because in the old days they had several types of coins. They had gold coins, silver coins, and copper coins. Can they all be used? And then in turn, if you redeemed on silver, which is optimal, can you then subsequently redeem that silver on gold or on other silver or on copper and so on and so forth? Okay, that's the topic which we're dealing with. So there was a machlokas Beisham and Beis Hillel in the Mishnah.
You take the produce that you otherwise taken up, and you sell it, or you buy it?
You redeem it. Neither sell nor buy. You redeem it.
You redeem it?
Yeah, it's a redemption process called chilul or pidyon, as opposed to mechira. It's not a sale. It's a redemption.
So when you redeem it, then you can eat it as normal
produce,
and the money that you deposit with yourself,
yes,
you convey it.
That's right, exactly. The money you deposit yourself, you convey to Yerushalayim. So there was a machlokas Beisham and Beis Hillel back in the Mishnah on page Yud Aleph and Beis. If you take a look at Yud Aleph and Beis, in the last 4 lines in the Mishnah, you'll see Beis Shammai Omrim Lo Yasa Adam. Do you see that? Beis Shammai Omrim? Yeah, Beis Shammai Omrim Lo Yasa Adam. A person should not make a slaw of dinar Yisrael. He shouldn't convert silver money. He redeemed this Ma'aser Sheni and silver money. Now he wants to upgrade it to dinar Yisrael, to gold money. Now that's obviously easier for him to transport because many silver coins fit into a gold coin, right? Beis Hillel permits this procedure. Rabbi Akiva says, Rabbi Yeshua's Kasmin Narizav, I converted from Gamliel Rabbi Yeshua their silver coins into gold coins. Now Beis Hillel said, now the essential issue here is that you can only redeem money into money which is better currency, and not money which is not as good currency. Meaning, if gold is superior currency to silver, then you can, after you redeem the fruit on the silver, you can redeem the silver on the gold. But if gold is inferior currency to silver, then after you redeem the money, the fruit on silver, you may not redeem the money on gold. Is that clear? That's the machlokas?
Superior and inferior.
Spendability. What's a more universal coin? Okay? What's more, better word than spendable? Negotiable. What's a more negotiable coin? Okay? Now, we are on Daf Yud Beis on the base. Rabbi Yochanan, 4 lines to the bottom. Rabbi Yochanan, Lomru b'shamei ela b'sof. Beis Shammai said you may not use gold, you may not convert your silver into gold. That means at the end of the process, when you not literally the end, but when you already made your redemption of the fruit on silver, you may not then turn around and redeem the silver on gold. However, avo b'tchila of Beis Shammai moda, but at beginning, meaning before you redeem that silver, the initial redemption may be done on gold. Okay, Rabbi Yochanan holds the initial redemption may be done on gold, according to Beis Shammai. It's just subsequently may not, if you had redeemed the initial redemption of the fruit on silver, then you may not go to gold afterwards. But the initial redemption may be on gold. That's Rabbi Yochanan's opinion in Beis Shammai. Okay, so far so good. Now get stuff. Now, the Girsa here, the way to read the Gemara is all messed up. That's what happens to Yerushalmi. General principle. Yerushalmis have oftentimes very great difficulties with how to read them. So, Now I will tell you that we will skip from here. We're going to follow the way the Vilna Gaon does the Girsa here. And the next line which he has here is Ma Taima de Beis Shammai, not this one though, but Ma Taima de Beis Shammai on Yud Gimel Amud Aleph, 3 lines from the top. Okay? See that? Ma Taima de Beis Shammai, what is the rationale of Beis Shammai? According to Rabbi Yochanan. So we say, Kesef Rishon v'lo Kesef Sheni. We say the first silver and not the second silver. So we're talking about the pasuk in the pasuk Torah. It says v'nasata ba'kesef. It says you should use the money, or you should actually put the value of the fruit into money. Okay? So that means the initial redemption may be done on silver and not a subsequent redemption. Kesef Rishon, below Kesef Sheni. The first redemption may be done on money, not the second redemption. Okay? So it's very interesting. According to Rabbi Yochanan, the way the Gemara is learning it, the way Rabbi Yochanan is learning, it sounds like even were a goal to be more negotiable, it still would not be permissible. Why is that? Because it says kesef rishon. Okay, it says kesef. No, it's not the ba-kesef. And we dash in that, we understand that to understand ba-kesef means one time. Rishon, you get one redemption on money, below kesef sheni. No second redemption on money. Okay? So that means you can redeem the fruit on silver. You can redeem the fruit on gold. But what can't you do? You can't redeem money on money. Okay? One bakesef. Bakesef rishon, once, below sheni, not a second time. So Gemara asks, how can you say this? Vatina, didn't we learn, in the next Mishnah we'll learn this, Haporet Selamimos Ma'aser Sheni. You redeemed, redeemed Ma'aser Sheni on copper. And you take all those copper prutos. Porate means a pruta, right? You take all those copper prutos, and you want to now make them into silver. There are 192 prutos in a dinner, if I recall correctly. So you take all 190, either in dinner or silver, I forget which one. So you take them and take all those 192 prutos that you gather over time, and now you want to make them into silver coin, which is obviously much easier again. So the Mishnah permits you to do that. Even going Beis Shammai. How could this be? Kesef Rishon, low Kesef Sheni. You're only allowed to get one redemption on money, not a second redemption, right? So again, let's see inside. We learn Haporet Selamimos Ma'aser Sheni. The Sarvin Meimar, we thought to understand. Kini Masni. So this is the way to understand the Mishnah. Hametzarev Selamimos Ma'aser Sheni. It says you join together a sela, meaning a silver coin, from the copper coin of Ma'aser Sheni. So even though the coin of the realm seems to be not an issue here, right? It really doesn't matter which is more negotiable, which is not. According to Beis Shammai, it should only be one time and not another time. Where you see you can upgrade the silver. Now I understand if the logic would be based on negotiability, so silver is more negotiable than copper. That's for sure. Because copper coins are less valuable, and therefore they're not as negotiable. Gold might be overly valuable, but silver is certainly more valuable than copper, right? So therefore I can understand you can upgrade to silver. That makes sense. But if you're going to say you only get one redemption on money, that's it. There's no additional redemption. So how can you go from copper to silver? So the more it responds, it says very interesting logic, very good logic, of course. My kadum, what's going on here? The Beis Shammai kesef. Logic Beis Shammai, this is kesef. It says v'nasata ba kesef, redeem with silver, ad kidei kesef, until you reach silver. Meaning once you hit silver, you can't go any further. So you can redeem the first time on copper. And then you can go up to silver. You can't go past silver. Is that clear? Stratum, yes. Silver is the stratum at which the redemption process stops. Okay? So if you redeem, no, you can. But you can't redeem, you can't go back down to silver. Up to silver. Ad kesef. But not up to, not a subsidy.
You went to copper, you could only go to silver. The first time would have to be gold.
The first time you did copper, you can go up to silver. But you can't pass silver, right? So the first time you did gold, which is okay, you can't go back down to silver. That's what it means. V'nasata ba'kesef ad kesef. Okay? That's it, you're stuck. Start off with gold, you're stuck. You start off with silver, you're stuck. You start off with copper, you can go up to silver. Okay? That's all Rabbi Yochanan. Now let's go back to Reish Lakish, to Rabbi Shimon Lakish. And let's go back for that to the Yud Beis Amud Beis. Oh no, not there yet. Let's go back to Yud Gimel Alf just before we started before. Okay, it's the second line of Yud Gimel Alf. Rav Shimon ben Lakish Omer. Shimon ben Lakish says, you see this over here, Rav Shimon ben Lakish Omer, Amar ben Mitchila ben Besof, Beis Shammai Pligan. Beis Shammai, you both beginning and the end, meaning, but at the beginning, Beis Shammai, you may not even make the initial redemption on gold. Gold is not a currency at which you can redeem, period. At all. No way. Now the Gemara says, now we go back to Yud Beis Amud Beis. Ma time of the Beis Shammai. What? Yeah, my time of the Beis Shammai. You have the place for Mr. No, we read that one. We're going back to this one here. Yeah. Ma time. My time of the Beis Shammai. What's the large Beis Shammai? Kesef. They're literalists. So it's silver. Below off, not gold. Now ask more, how can you say this? That's the case, let's say silver, not copper. But we learn in the next Mishnah. If somebody puts together a whole bunch of prutos of redemption money, Ma'aser Sheni, the Safri Meimer wanted to say that we're talking about Kini Mastis. This is the way to read the Mishnah. Hamatzayv selling most Ma'aser Sheni. You join together by exchanging a silver coin for a copper coin to Ma'aser Sheni. So you see the initial redemption can be on copper. Ma'ikadun, how we understand this? Time the Beis Shammai. So very interesting logic. Reish Lakish says, Time Beis Shammai. He kesef he nechoshes. According to Reish Lakish, Beis Shammai feels that silver and copper are equally negotiable. Gold is significantly less negotiable. Silver and copper are equally negotiable, and therefore, whenever it says kesef in the Torah, it also implies copper. Just like nowadays, when it says money can mean many things, so too silver in the old days can mean many things. One of the things silver can mean is also copper. So that's why he says copper and silver are both good currencies. The gold is not. Okay? Thought it was Night at the Opera.
No.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. It's only on Tuesday. It's not until
Tuesday.
10.
All right. Yes. Yeah, but the thing is, Beis Shammai in the next Mishnah doesn't disagree. They should have said something in the next Mishnah. They do disagree because they do appear in the next Mishnah. Let's see the next Mishnah. Yeah, at this point they don't disagree. Let's go on. Halacha Daud, Mr. Sugar, Yud Gimel Amud Beis. Yud Gimel Amud Beis. Okay, next page. Haporet Sela. Haporet Sela Mimos Ma'aser Sheni. You have somebody who has he's made a lot of the copper coins as a Ma'aser Sheni. This is what we just read. Beis Shammai. Now Beis Shammai says when you do upgrade, as a matter of fact, there's more than that. It's expensive. Beis Shammai holds you're allowed to upgrade to silver. He says that right. Shamrim because Selamos. Oh wait, which one is this? This is upgrading or downgrading? I think it's upgrading. Yeah, but it means it's like this. Poret Tzeli Ma'aser Sheni, you have, I think they're 192. I don't know. I have that number in mind. I'm not sure if that's correct, but let's assume. Let's use metric system just to, even though it's not true. Let's just use the simplified. Let's assume that there are 100 prutos in the cellar. Okay, just for our own simplicity's sake. So you have 100 prutos, right? 100 copper pennies, and you want to make them to the cellar, a silver dollar. Take a whole silver dollar with you. In other words, change the entire 100 pennies into a silver dollar. No, make it 50 cents. Right, a 50-cent piece, and keep the other 50 cents pennies. Don't put the entire. Don't exchange all the copper pennies for a silver dollar. Make it a silver half dollar and 50 pennies. Now, why does Beis Hillel argue? So there are two possible reasons which are given. One is that Beis Hillel is more mekel, and the other is Beis Hillel is more machmir. The one which says that Beis Hillel says that the one which holds that Beis Hillel is more lenient is of the opinion that really it would be better to put in silver. Why? Because copper rusts or tarnishes quicker than silver. Let's take at face value. Sounds good? So, no? So, copper paints, the days when pennies are really copper, they actually tarnish them, isn't it? Yeah. I guess not as quickly. All right, I don't know. Yeah, it tarnishes quite quickly. That's true, but it's not rubbed very in the same way. I don't know, but that's what he's saying here, that they go bad quicker. So he says it's really according to Beisham wants to get rid of the prutos, the copper coins, as soon as possible. Get rid of them because they're bad. They're going to go bad. Beis Hillel says you're allowed to keep 50 cents in a half in copper. Yeah.
If you're adding to your redemption money because crops are coming in, you want to make change, and then that allows you to get a precise amount. You won't be limited to.
Well, the other reason given is in fact similar to yours, in which case Beis Hillel is really a machmir. What Beis Hillel is saying then, according to the other pshat, which is the Rash's pshat, one of the Rishonim, he says that Beis Hillel holds you must keep half of your assets, in this case, in copper. Why? Because otherwise, when you get area where you get to Yerushalmi, there'd be a rush by the money lead changers to get copper, to go back down to copper. Because in Yerushalmi, you have to go back down to copper anyway. It's very interesting. In Yerushalmi, things are much more flexible. Because in Yerushalmi, you got to spend the money. And most storekeepers are not going to take silver coins because they have to give too much change. So where did you exchange your silver to copper? The money lenders, or the currency exchanges. So therefore, if everybody would go at once, there's a certain fee assessed for that exchange, right? So everybody would go at once, so that copper coins would be much more expensive. There'd be a demand on them, a rush. So therefore, you get actually less copper coins based on the fee imposed for your silver, right? Am I making myself clear? So that's why they said always keep half of it fluid, so there won't be such a tremendous rush on the money changers.
Just good advice.
Yeah, but he holds it's not just good advice, that you must. Yeah, it's good advice, and you better follow it or else. That's what it is, exactly. Okay? Now, similarly, in Yerushalmi, before we get there, another machlokas, Meir says if you have 50 cents copper coins, and you have 50 cents worth of fruit, So you cannot be mechalel, redeem both of them now jointly on a silver dollar. You cannot make a combination of fruit and coins. It's either all fruit or all coins. Rabbi Yehuda, Chacham Matir, Chacham permits such practice. Now, when you get to Yerushalayim, of course, they're going to change the silver back to copper. Almost you immediately change the entire silver dollar into copper coinage. Now, according to Beis Shammai, you can't do it. You can't do it in several exchanges. Why? Because Beis Shammai says there's a fee imposed each time you make an exchange. So if, let's say, the first time you went from a silver dollar to a silver $0.50 and 50 cents, so then when you would have to go to exchange a silver dollar again to cents, so then you would have to pay a fee a second time. So to limit the amount of fees and paid, Beis Shammai says everything in one shot. No half measures.
But they're allowing you to take some of these fees out of the principal, out of the amount.
Yeah.
They just want to limit it.
Right. Okay?
Someone takes small American Express.
Right. Or like when you go to the ATM machines which charge fees, take it as much as you can in one shot. Right. Okay? These are all part of the same general halachic principle. Now, Beis Hillel Omrim, B'shekel Kesem Shekel Mos. Beis Hillel says that you can be lenient and you can exchange half at a time. Okay? Half at a time means we're not worried about the extra fee. Now the other interpretation here too there's another interpretation that Beis Hillel is more machmir. And Beis Hillel says you can only exchange half, as much money as you need at the moment, which is, let's say in our case, half. Why is that? Because we're afraid that copper coins, Beis Hillel, they say, the Rosh says here, copper coins are going to go down in value. In the old days, silver was more or less fixed, and gold and copper fluctuated. Okay?
This wouldn't make any sense if everybody's rushing to get the copper. The price of copper will go up rather than down.
Yes, you would think that. But I guess that there are other market forces at work which make copper volatile. I'm going to have to say.
Everybody's rushing to get it.
You're right, the ratio, no, but he's right that the ratio, the beginning of the mission implies that the price of prutos will go up, right? And the Sefer is implying that the price will go down. So that's it seems like a paradox, right? Yeah. No, well, most people are schlepping silver. As many people as could would take silver. Right. Okay, you're right. It would have to be an independent market force. According to this pshat, it would have to be an independent market force that drove the price of copper down. That's correct. Okay. Those who would make the case before the rabbis, they would say, "Bishlosha dinari kesef dinar mos." Now we're going to have different proportions. They said 3/4 of a measure retain in silver, and 1/4 of a measure you can exchange to copper. Rabbi Akiva Omer bishlosha dinari kesef. In the three measures silver, ubarvi. So I forgot. I don't know what that means. What I mean? And in the fourth, and in a quarter. So it's 1/4 of the fourth dinar, meaning a measure of 1/16. It's 1/16 of your total principal. Convert into prutos at a time, into copper coin, no more than that. So keep in silver, and a fourth of the fourth measure you convert into copper. Rabbi Tarfon says that you divide the fourth measure into 5. And you take 1/5 of a measure in copper. So actually only 1/20th of your total sum at any given time should be in copper. The rest should be in silver. Shammai, till now we're learning Beis Shammai. Now we learn Shammai himself. What did Shammai himself say? You know what? Don't. He was so afraid of the fees that he said, don't exchange the silver. Leave the silver in the store, wherever you're buying your goods from, and eat corresponding to that silver as you go. Okay? And at the end, the storekeeper will give you change. In other words, if you go to the storekeeper and just make a small purchase, so it's not going to give you change. For that, you need the money changer. But if you're going to open up an account with the storekeeper, even though of course you're losing as a result because he ain't paying you interest, and your money is by him tied up, nonetheless, for the purpose of Ma'aser Sheni, you should do that. And at the end of the process, the storekeeper will give you whatever remains on your credit. Not necessarily, because everybody would bring their food up to Yerushalmi because it was a great market. Yeah. Yeah, local farmers.
That's right. If you're always around the area,
yeah. There obviously was a.
I'm just trying to surmise what is Shammai getting? Is he getting at that he doesn't mind these regular market forces dealing with whatever the price of the goods rides it up, but he's upset about is the separate fees, or is it that maybe the market isn't so high, and therefore
you would have to prove the latter. The former seems far more in spirit with the rest of the Mishnah. Mishnah Mixas Bonav Torah, following along these lines of Shammai's concept. Very interesting Gemara. We have Mishnah. Mishnah Mixas Bonav Tmei Mixas Bonav Torah. He's got Yaakov's 4 sons: Reuven, Shimon, Levi, and Yehuda. Reuven and Shimon are Tor. Levi and Yehuda are Tomei. Tomei people are not allowed to eat Ma'aser Sheni. So what does he do? Menir Sasel, he leaves the coin in the store. But it says Masha Torim shows him that which the pure children, Reuven and Shimon, drink. Shelazum Chulel Salav. Let this coin be redeemed. In other words, that it continuously be spent on whatever they're drinking. So it may come to be, in fact, that both the Tamei and Torah people can drink from the same vessel. Because as you're drinking, you being Reuven and Shimon, and he's drinking, him being Levi and Yehuda, what you're drinking becomes the Ma'aser Sheni, then remains Torah, and when he's drinking, that they are drinking, does not become Ma'aser Sheni. And although it is Tamei, that doesn't bother us, because although you're not allowed to have your Ma'aser Sheni become Tamei, you're allowed to have your regular food stuff become Tamei. It's not a problem. Okay?
but it was purchased with the money.
Excuse me?
When we're talking about money that was purchased, food that was purchased,
absolutely. But when is the purchase taking place? That's what we're going to discuss. The purchase is taking place contemporaneously with your drinking it, with your consuming it. Each one. Oh, we'll see in it one. The Gemara is going to explain. Okay? Rabbi Shimon Lakish Amar. Rabbi Shimon said, Mapli Rameh Rabbanin. When what Rameh and Rabban argue when they said that in our Mishnah, that you cannot redeem, you may not redeem, half fruit and half copper coins on a silver coin together. That was our mayor and Rabban permit this practice. What's your machlokas? Only shemer k'dei kesef. only when there is not enough money, not enough fruit to make up a silver dollar on its own. Aval, that there's enough fruit to make up the redemption of a silver dollar, whatever silver coin, on its own. Rabban also do not allow you to bring the fruits and the coin together in the redemption process. How so? Chatzi dinar kesef, chatzi dinar peiros. If you have a quarter, using our modern coinage, right? Assuming silver begins at $50. If you have a quarter worth of fruit and a quarter worth of copper coins, then mutter. You're allowed to redeem them both together on the 50-cent piece, which is silver already. Dinar kesef, a dinar mos. If you have 50 cents worth of money, of copper coins, and 50 cents worth of fruit, so also you're not allowed to redeem both on a silver dollar. Redeem the fruit independently on a silver $50, according to Rabbi Meir. According to still allowed to do it. According to Rabbi Meir, we say that at that point you have enough to redeem on the silver $50. The fruit by itself, do not mix and match the fruit and coin together. Okay? Says more further, so too. Dinar kesef, koshkein shnei dinar kesef, shnei dinar peiros also. It goes without saying, if you have 2 times 50 cents, which is a silver dollar, a sela of kesef, which shnei dinar peiros, 2 times 50 cents silver dollar of fruit, so also that in that case you may not redeem on the larger sum. Even according to Rabbanan, on the larger coin, both together you have to redeem each one independently. Okay? Now a little bit of historical information here. Who are the Donim? We enter a mission the Donim, those who would discuss cases before the rabbis. They're Menazai ben Zoma. Who are the people who call Talmidim? Hanani ben Chachinoi, Rabbi Elazar ben Masio. Ada Kadosha, who's the holy congregation? They're Rabbi Yosef ben Shulam, Rabbi Shimon ben Menashe. So whenever you find these descriptions in Shas, you know that they're referring to these people. My time of the Shammai. What's the logic of Shammai, who says you should leave it in the store? You know what? I gave the wrong reason in our Mishnah. Maybe this is the reason you were giving me before. I don't think so, though. It's the third reason. My time of Shammai. What's the logic of Shammai? It says leave the silver dollar in the store, and each time you take off your account. So Shema Ishkach v'Yasa Sochuli, because you have too much money lying around you personally, especially if there's many copper coins, then you might mistake them for chulin. So therefore, instead of doing that, at the moment you get to Yerushalmi, put your money in the account, and therefore you won't expend it improperly. Okay? Now, we said that you're allowed to have 2 sets of children. Reuven and Shimon on the one hand who are tahor, and Levi and Yehuda are tamei, drinking out of the same container together. Manake, what are you talking about, Mishnah? You're going to say that the beverage is Ma'aser Sheni before they start drinking. Mashke b'uravu. Then it's mixed beverage, and therefore, of course, the children who are tamei should not be able to drink because they're going to defile the Ma'aser Sheni. If you're going to say that only after they drink it should become Ma'aser Sheni, so at the time they drank, they were drinking chulin. They consumed non-Ma'aser Sheni. It's too late later on. What are you talking about? When the father said, it should occur just before they drink. Okay? Now, this sounds like Brera to me. But Brera works in what case does retroactive determination work? It works by, you're right, yeah, it's the whole thing by Trumas Samaisos, the bottle which might break. Yeah, but it's only a problem by the rights. It's okay, prayer is okay by the abundance. And the Ma'aser Sheni B'zman Hazeh is the Rabbanon. So say about Ma'aser Sheni B'zman Hazeh, meaning the time the second base Hamikdash period was the Raid Rabbanon because Eretz Yisrael was not fully conquered and it was not divided into the tribes properly. So therefore, Ma'aser Sheni is the Rabbanon. Okay. B'tmeim Tmei Mes. Yeah. No, whole period is second base Hamikdash. Only above it. Right. For Kedusha. But not halachically. It means that they don't need a subsequent. Well, I guess I'm wrong on one thing I said, which is that you don't need all of Eretz Yisrael to be conquered. What you need is that all of the Jews should be in Israel. Bias kulchem. Okay, that's the condition. That means that the Kedusha Shniya is an eternal Kedusha, but only if all Jews, or according to Rabbeinu Gershom, I forget where, we had it recently in Choros or somewhere, 600,000 Jews come and live in Eretz Yisrael. So it's not enough that the conquest is valid conquest, you also need the Jews living there. It's a good question, Rabbeinu Gershom.
There's something about majority.
Yeah. There's a question of Rov Yeshvei Aleh, Kol Yeshvei Aleh, and whether Kol is defined as 600,000 or not. Okay. But according to there's another parameter for Shemitah and Yovel. For Shemitah and Yovel, you need Eretz Yisrael to be divided for Shvatim. Divided for Shvatim, the way we passed it. So it was divided for Shvatim, it's Machlokas in Masech Shvis. The way we passed it, it was divided for Shvatim, it's the Rabbanan even then. Okay? Says more further. B'tmeim Tmei Meis. We're talking about a case where the people who drink, the brothers who drink or Tamei, are Tmei Meis. They came to contact with a dead body. Because if a person's Tamei Meis touches a earthenware vessel on the outside, it does not become Tamei. So therefore, Reuben and Shimon can be only the vessel on one side drinking, Levi and Yehuda the other side be drinking, and they're not going to make Levi and Yehuda are Tamei, not going to make it Tamei. But if Levi and Yehuda are Tamei because they are Zavin, they had emissions, then not in that case. Shazav mitame behesed. A zav is mitame. It's only a kli cheres, a pottery vessel, even if it just moves it, right? Moves the contents. Moves the contents. That's the contents that come tame. So then it wouldn't work in that case. Lobadah. It's the famous question of why the Greeks, who had a din of zavin because they were non-Jews, why they were not mitame the Bach Shemin and the Beis HaMikdash, the cruse of oil for the Mechanical miracle. Right? So the many answers given. Either that the Beis HaMikdash, that the Shemin was found in a locked cabinet, or that the Shemin was the container was shaped in such a way that there is no tumas esed, where the zav could not even stick in his hand if he tried, and so on and so forth, various different reasons. Okay? So amen. The kshein echamara, and that's only if kshein achamara, if somebody else not pouring. Amish achamara, someone else is pouring. I feel it's made to maziva. Then even if one of them is tamei to maziva, he's not going to be matame. Obviously, why it's not going to be matame? Because it's never coming to any physical contact with the container itself. Okay. So far, so good. Next pair. They are drinking from the same thing. On the second case, they're not drinking from the same thing. Yeah. In the second scenario, they're not drinking. Just one guy's pouring to all of them. But the first scenario, they're all drinking from the same one. And the father said it only comes Ma'aser Sheni when right before they drink whatever they're going to drink, and also, as we said, it's about where none of them are zovin, because if they're zovin, then they're touching it, makes it tummy.
Yeah, I don't quite understand that. What's happening? You have 4 brothers, and they're drinking particular water. Does that make a difference?
All simultaneously. Each one plugged the spigot into the cask.
Okay. All through the same cask.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
How? You don't seem very lost. On a scale of 1 to 10, you only seem like a 2 or a 3. So let's see if we can extricate you from these woods. Ask a question.
Are they 2 brothers allowed to eat Ma'aser Sheni?
No. That's what we're saying. Only is becoming Ma'aser Sheni at the point it's entering their mouths.
The first 2. Yeah.
And only what enters the mouth.
It was purchased with Ma'aser
No.
Sheni.
He put the money, like Bashamai said, he put the money in the store. And the money, as they're drinking, the credit, it's like a meter. As they're drinking, the meter is ticking in the money.
He has to now take some money out of his pocket
to pay for the other 2 brothers. Okay, for the other 2 brothers. Okay? A person should not say to his friend, "How's a pair say to Yerushalmi? Take this food up to Yerushalmi l'chalik and we'll divide it up there." Why is that? Because it looks like he's doing business with Ma'aser Sheni foods and it's forbidden to do so. What he can say is, "Halaim, bring the Yerushalmi, not that we'll divide them up, but shenochlim and the shenishim Yerushalmi that will eat and drink Yerushalmi, because that looks like I'm paying you wages for Ma'aser Sheni. It's forbidden." Okay? What I can say to you is, take up the food Yerushalmi, so eat and drink them. As long as they didn't use the word divide. The key promise uses the word divide. Okay? What's the difference if he says we're going to eat and drink them, but he says we're going to divide them? Rabbi Yona's son said a very interesting line in Yerushalmi had in Shvius, Mehilchos shel imum, he said. This is one of the halachos of unclarity. Imum means literally smoldering, like smoldering coals. So here it means an unclear halacha, a vague halacha. Now, we had this in the Masechah Shvius, and we're going to have a repetition so we had in Shvius, and it means that this is one of the halachas where Chazal were unclear. I don't know, the right word might be murky. We're murky, and therefore it's mutter. In other words, there's no qualitative difference between saying we'll divide Yerushalmi or eat and drink Yerushalmi. Chazal said the superficial difference is sufficient to distinguish between the 2. Okay? Says the Gemara, Tamat.
He obviously doesn't subscribe to the father.
What do you mean?
Or the week that whatever you get.
You see, the difference between them and us is that they still have the principle of Safek Rabbanan L'Kula. We don't have it anymore.
What's that?
Got lost in the 19th century.
What is that?
Yeah. Cynical remarks. Cynical remark and a cynical reply.
So you're not going to address that?
No, I'm not going to address it. Okay.
Second.
Okay. Right. Tamat Nina. That's the whole crackpot issue, which came out of Israel a few months ago, by Shlomo Zalman died. About raising the crackpot, not raising the crackpot, is all based on the assumption that there's no principle of Savi Rabbanan L'Kula anymore. Because where such principle applicable, so obviously the whole thing is a question of the Rabbanan. But Monos only is the Rabbanan. Okay, that was just an example I was telling you. Tamatim, we learned over there. Now several other cases of imum. Murky waters, which are permissible waters. Homer Lepoil, somebody says to his worker, "Hey, Lucha Isar, here's $1. V'lakili yerek hayom, and collect from me vegetables today. Now these vegetables are growing during Shemitah, so nobody owns them, they're hefker. But one is not allowed to do business with Shemitah fruits, right? So he says, I'll pay you I'll give you, do it for me and I'll pay you for them.
But he's paying for his time or for
the labor. Okay? Schara mutter, then the wages are mutter. Lakatli bo, for the dollar. He adds the word bo. Yerek hayom, vegetables today, schara aser. Then it's forbidden. Similarly, lokach min anachtom kikor bepunjon, I buy from a baker a loaf which is worth $1, and I say it should be l'chshe'elko, really. When I collect Yerokos hasada, the vegetables of the field, avi l'cha, I'll bring them to you. Mutter, that's okay. Unless he says, obviously, though the Gemara doesn't finish it here, unless he says, I'll collect you the vegetables for the bread, obviously, in that case it's going to be also, because that makes it payment, and that's forbidden. So you're not allowed to stay out right that it's payment. Lokach menu stam, if you purchase from him generically, in other words, you purchase the baker's bread, without saying going to go and collect vegetables, you can't pay with Shemitah money, so we're not allowed to pay a loan, meaning here purchase from Shemitah money. Be that all as it may, ma ben oimer lakatli bo. What's if it's used the word bo or not? So here too, is one of these murky halachos. Tamatzina, here we actually get to compare to a bavli. Tamatzina, it says over there, shoylo adam mechaveru kadi yaim kadi shemen. Person could borrow from his friend on Shabbos jugs of wine and jugs of oil. As long as he doesn't say, give it to me as a loan. He could say hashileni. The English, both things translated as a loan. But he was in sheilo, which is a borrowing, and hava, which is a loaning. I know in English they mean the same, but what? Yeah, but in English you can't translate them differently. But so the Bavli says there's a big difference. It's like safekeeping. See how hard it is to explain it? The truth is, ultimately, in both cases, you're going to drink the wine and give him back other wine. It's like, can I borrow your pen? So really, I'm taking away the ink from you, right? Well, it's a bad example. It's a lousy example. Yeah.
But it's not demanding. Whereas
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I agree with you about that. No. The truth is, there's no qualitative difference between the two, because in both cases, it's all difference in nomenclature. In both cases, the guy's going to drink the wine and give back all the wine. He does. Both cases, he does. He does. And that's what the Yerushalmi is about that. So what's the difference? But Ashileni means give it to me not as a commercial transaction, but as a safekeeping. Whereas Halveni means give it to me as a loan, which is a commercial statement. Okay, I guess
doing the same. No, understood.
Makes no difference.
Well, the difference is if I'm giving it to safekeeping, I'm getting the benefit.
But it's not really safekeeping. It's not, because you're losing. That wine is going to be drunk, and it's going to give him back different wine.
It's hard to explain.
Yes.
No, I understand.
So the Bavli says, what's the difference between the two? So he says, the Bavli says, when I use the language of a she'ela, there's not going to be no work concern that you might come to write it down. We use the language of halva, so you might come to write it down. So then the Bavli asks, I just looked it up a few minutes ago, the Bavli asks, come on, is that a real difference? So the Bavli says, yes, there is a real difference, because since he knows not to use the language of halva, which is load, rather language of she'ela, which is quote-unquote borrowing, so he realizes that jogs his memory that he shouldn't write it down. But you're right, there is no qualitative difference. Even the Bavli concedes that. But the fact that we limited the language you can use is what reminds him not to write it down. Yerushalmi doesn't go that far. Yerushalmi just says, Ma bin oimer alveni, ma bin oimer shilein. What's if it say, loan me or let me borrow? Rabbi Zir B'Shem Rabbi Yerushalmi says, Me'aloch shel imumi. It's one of these murky areas which Chazal allowed. Okay? So, Yerushalmi being much less lumdish than the Bavli, doesn't try and give a precise reason, just says, that's what it is. Okay? Piton. So too their bread of a goy. Rabbi Yaakov Baruch B'Shem Rabbi said, Odhi Me'aloch shel imun. That's also one of these murky areas. Rabbi Yossi, the question is what exactly meant by that. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yossi said, Kashisi Kami Rabbi Yaakov Baracha. I asked Rabbi Yaakov Baracha, Mal Me'aloch Shalimui. In what respect is bread one of those alochs? Where if you don't have the place, we're on the 3, 6, 9, 10th line down in the wide lines. The last word in the line. Kach. Kach. Kach ani yomer. Does this what you mean to say? Do I say like this? B'mokum shepat Yisrael Mitzuya, where there's prevalent Jewish bread, b'dinu shetei patzkoi masura. Really not Jewish bread, even bakery bread, which is called in the lingo paspalter. Very good. Yes. Even bakery bread should be also right. Even bakery bread, and they made it murky. And they were matirit, they permitted. Oh, it doesn't mean in the place where there is not Jewish bread prevalent. The non-Jewish bread should be permitted. And they were murky about it, but they made it forbidden. Which one is it? I might have said, what? Is murkiness a reason to forbid? Murkiness is a reason to permit. Again, by the Rabbanans, right? Murkiness. Where did you ever find murkiness a reason to be to forbid? It says, I'm going to tell you. There is a reason. Upas, or there is a precedent, I should say. Upas lokatav shili goymi is bread not like bishulak, like the things that goy cooks. Kachani yomer. This is what I would say. Uma b'mokum sheitav shili Yisrael mitzuyin, where Jewish food is not prevalent, Jewish cooked food. B'dinu shediyei gotav shili goy mutorim. Really, we should allow non-Jewish cooked food, but we don't. It's forbidden. The truth is that halacha l'maisa bishulakim is not mutter. If bishulakim is not mutter, just because it's hard to find Jewish cooked stuff, we need other heterim for bishulakim. There is no heter bishulakim of food being scarce, only by bread, because bread is such a staple that if it's scarce, we can lie in bakeries, but not by vegetables. So there it's a kind of imum which is forbidden. Though it's there, it should be murky, and it should be permissible. It's awesome. Elkenu. So Taka, this would be the way to say it, according to this perspective. Where Jewish bread is not prevalent.
Oh, just a second.
I'm not sure I translated the thing before, right? I'm not sure I translated the parallel to the Tavshil Goyim correctly. I'm certain you noticed I'm not sure I translate it correctly, but I'm not going to bother translating it differently because I'm not sure how else to translate it. But let's go further. Let's start from Elokeinu. Elokeinu Mamokum Shem Pasis Ro Mitzuya. In a place, this is the way, however, to read it. A place where non-Jewish bread is not where Jewish bread is not prevalent. B'din shetei paskoy masura. Non-Jewish bread should be forbidden. It should be forbidden. Nonetheless, they made it murky and they permitted it because it's such a major staple and therefore it has to be permitted. And Rabban the Kisar Mishim Rabbi Yaakov Bar Achos said, "Kedivrei mishu matir." It's taka. We're allowed to use non-Jewish bread where Jewish bread is not prevalent. As long as it comes from a baker. The law of Dinan Kain, however, the Jews in Eretz Yisrael are machmir, and they not eat non-Jewish bread, even pas palter, even in a place where Jewish bread is not prevalent. Okay? Zman is that almost all bread is pas Yisrael. Almost all bread is pas Yisrael. Because we Ashkenazim paskin that lighting the ovens is sufficient to make something pas Yisrael. Sfardim hold that the Jews actually have to stoke the fires, but we hold if you just throw a match in, right, kindling, that's sufficient. So so they do that at CRC and all other major kashrus organizations do that uniformly, almost in any situation.
So you're saying all
kosher bread, yeah.
Right,
like natural ovens in Manitawak, Breadsmith, or all the breads even made by non-Jewish firms are pas Yisrael. Okay? I get a kick out of that. Every time we walk into Breadsmith in Glenview, there's a sign on the door, all our breads are pas Yisrael. I wonder how many people up there in Glenview are concerned about it. Yeah, they were supposed to be coming already for months. The sign is up now?
Yes,
okay. Tani, lo yomer adam l'chaveru b'Yerushalayim. A person should not say to his friend, we learned in our Mishnah we learned our Mishnah about bringing to Yerushalayim. A person should not say in Yerushalayim, bring this barrel of wine from place to place, the Chalakin will divide it up. Even in Yerushalayim proper, this is not permissible. Now, Rabbi Lazar said, turning the page now, the Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nechemia. This is going like Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nechemia. Now, Rabbi Nechemia are mentioned here. They mentioned Masechta Shvius. Rabbi and Nechemia are the ones who say there that even if you don't say, Rabbanan before said, in order to make it also you have to say the word bo by Shemitah. In other words, if I say, collect me the vegetables bo for this money, it's awesome. If I don't use the word bo, I say collect me the vegetables and here's the dollar, that's okay. Rabbi Nechemia doesn't draw such a distinction. Rabbi Nechemia and Rabbi Yehuda don't draw such a distinction. They say it's also regardless. And we want to say our Mishnah and this price are like Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nechemia, because our Mishnah and Rabbi Nechemia don't specify. There's no comparable word to bow in our Mishnah, yet it answers it nonetheless. So therefore, our Mishnah should be like Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Nechemia. Says more, it's not necessarily so. What are we talking about? If we're talking about a case where, for instance, going back to Shemitah, the baker says, now taking the case of the baker, Hey lecha, here's bread. Have li, give me money. Divrei kol aser. Everybody agrees it's forbidden. Give me the vegetables. Sorry, not money. Give me the vegetables of Shemitah. Divrei kol aser. That's of course barter. That's absolutely forbidden. Have li, if the buyer says, give me, v'anoy lach, and I'll give to you. Divrei kol muter. It's permissible. Because what does the buyer say? Give me first the bread. Later on, I'll give you the vegetables. That's okay. Okay? Because it doesn't look like a barter. Because in barter, generally you the buyer, give the purchasing agent before you get the thing you're buying. Elakinanakim, what do we tell you about over here? Bahuda marley. The buyer says, Havli, give me. Li ana yoiv lach, and I'm certain that I'll give to you. So you say with certainty, right? With certainty, it's forbidden. Okay, why is that? Right, or that's a machlokas, I should say. Right. Why is that? Vegetables are not readily available during Shemitah, and therefore, I, the buyer, I'm going to go to special lengths and difficulty in order to acquire for you the vegetables with which to pay this off. And this tircha, this special effort is what makes it awesome. A special effort forbids it. I think it's in the general principle of schera, but let me check.
And the pasuk says
yeah, it makes it more. The way he explains is that it makes it more like paying back a loan. Since I'm going to go to special lengths and distances in order to acquire the vegetables to pay you back, so it makes it more like a loan, and that's why it's forbidden. However, Rabbanan argue, Rabbanan matirin, Shiraka Sadam, they say vegetables are very prevalent, and therefore there's little effort on the part of the buyer involved. As this is little effort involved, it doesn't look like redeeming a loan with Shemitah fruits. Now, bringing this all back to our sugya over here, what it tells us is that even Rabbanan forbid, even if you don't use the word bow, as long as it's clearly indicative that this is a barter type transaction, such as in the case where the baker says, "Here's the stuff, here's the bread. Now go get me the vegetables." Where the buyer makes such a condition, it's obvious that this is a purchase. Then it's also, even if there's no actual use of the word bow for it, right? You didn't say, here's the bread for the vegetables. You said, here's the bread, get me the vegetables. If it's clearly indicated from the discourse that that's considered to be an exchange quid pro quo, it's forbidden. The same thing applies here.
So this is Shemitah vegetables that were growing on their own. But now can we go back and say the same is applicable to
Ma'aser Sheni, where commerce is forbidden as well? That if it's clearly indicated that that's a commercial transaction, even in they use the actual word bow, right, or any tangible other word, any specific other word which clearly indicates the commercial nature, if it is readily apparent, such as let's divide, that's sufficient in order to make it awesome. Okay? Says the Gemara, Maush Yomer Lo, what Mishahel also, sorry, once you brought up Yerushalmi, Maush Yomer Lo to chelkecha v'ani chelki. Now, after the fact, he brought the barrel up to Yerushalmi. Can he now say the forbidden language of take your part and I'll take my part? In other words, the work was already done. Can he now use that language? Or, what about if he says, take this barrel of wine, outside Yerushalayim, and we're going to eat the barrel of oil which I have there. Is that also asur? Not so much because of the language, because it didn't say lachluk, but he's giving oil for wine. Is that considered to be like a commercial transaction?
where they both become partners again?
I don't know if they become partners, because it's not usually the language of partnership.
But then when it says it left, it says
Maybe. I don't know. I'm skeptical. Alpha Meiser Behema King. The Shiloh is also by Meiser Behema. Meiser Behema, can I tell somebody, bring me up you to Yerushalmi Ma'aser Sheni, my animal, for Ma'aser Sheni, which has to be sacrificed Shlamim, and I'll give you half of it. In other words, when we sacrifice it as the korban, and I get back the meat, I'll give you half. Is that permissible, forbidden? Says more. Wait, what's your question? Ma'aser Sheni Apaidation Michiraso should be muteres, says the Gra. Ma'aser Sheni, you think you're allowed to buy and sell? At Omer Mutter, then therefore it should be permissible. Ma'aser Me'adesha Em Michiraso muteres. Ma'aser Me'adesha who sell is not permissible. Harei Atamar Asur. You can't say that. Ma'aser Sheni is also also to buy and sell. What do I say? Ma'aser Behema is mutter. Ma'aser Sheni is mutter buy and sell. Ma'aser Behema is also. They're both also. Both are also to do any commerce with. So therefore, the halacha should be exactly the same. Leis pshita lachti mutter. It's clear that it must be mutter. In other words, whatever is mutter by Ma'aser Sheni is mutter by Ma'aser Behema. There's no qualitative difference between the two. All right, says more. Fine. Ma'ashem, what about the following case? Ma'ashem, lo how ba'im of chayav zu. The Gra takes out the word chaya, obviously because chaya is a deer, and deer can't be brought as Ma'aser Behema, not to the Gra. Somebody else who should. So it means how behema, take this behema up to Yerushalmi. And he says, I won't give you, but I'm not going to give you from this animal. I'm going to give you from shechted meat, which I have there, which is comparable to the case of Ma'aser Sheni, where I say, take this one up and I'll give you oil there. Are those okay? I didn't use the word lachlo, but I give you something else instead of this which you're taking up. Is that a permissible statement or a forbidden statement? And the Gemara does not resolve it, and we'll stop here for this evening. How far behind are we now?